Welcome back. Today in our Sunday Spotlight, legendary Connecticut basketball coach Jim Calhoun. He's out with a new book to be released this fall, More Than a Game, How the UConn Basketball Dynasty Was Built on a Culture of Caring. Coach Calhoun joins us now along with his co-author and longtime columnist and sports reporter, a legend in his own right, the Hartford Courant's Dom Amore. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Coach, why did you decide to write this book? You've written a book in the past, and this is sort of a different take on what you're talking about. Why this book?
Yeah, because we just quickly, someone wrote a book about baseball cards. 15 years after these guys retired, they saw what was happening in their life. And I thought the things that happened to me over a 50-year career, 26 of those being at UConn, I wanted people to understand it is more than a game.
Well, and certainly the connection with the people is a big part of that story. And I loved the line in there that you'll always be a coach. You just don't care about the wins anymore and racking up the wins and how you interact with some of these folks. Stories about players that I rooted for on your teams, guys like Ben Gordon talking about some of his mental health struggles. And there's a great Khalid El-Amin, my favorite all time from that squad. He came as a recruit, and he was bossing Rip Hamilton around in a practice game, right? A pickup game?
All of them. I mean, here we are returning a great team, and next thing I know, he's picking the guys on his team. That was, as the woman who was his principal in Minnesota said, that's our Khalid.
And so he goes out there and famously shocks the world, beating Duke. But did it shock you? I mean, it sounded from this book like you knew all along he had that in him.
Whatever it is, he had it. And the it factor was he was a little bit heavy, he was a little bit slow, he wasn't very big. All he could do was win. And he was going to win, and he had a mindset. And by the way, he's brilliant too. He's a really, really smart guy, but yet he wanted to touch the streets. So he was very complex. I love the fact he came back and got his degree. I love the fact he's now coaching with his son. It's a great story.
Dom, tell me what attracted you to this story. I know you covered Jim Calhoun for many years as a sports columnist. When you get the chance to write this book, what was it about this tale that it got your attention?
Well, I really wanted to make sure that if we did a book, that it was going to be something that Jim was doing because there was a story that he wanted to tell, and not really for any other reason. That there was something different, something that was different from his earlier books. One was his memoirs, his life story. One was about leadership. And he kind of handed me the book he was talking about, the wax pack, where somebody took the baseball cards. And I fell in love with that idea. I thought that would make a great book. To take 15 or 16 players or people that he coached and impacted and just kind of examine his relationships with them and how it grew and evolved. And not only to talk about the guys you would expect to read about, like Khalid El-Amin and Ray Allen and Rip Hamilton, but also some lesser-known guys that he coached in his other stops at Northeastern, at St. Joe's, of course, more recently, and at the high school level.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the stories that I actually got legit goosebumps reading the book was a story. You take the St. Joe's players into your basement trophy room after they win the conference tournament. And this is when you're coming back, you're coaching Division III. It's a totally different thing. You take them down into your trophy room where now this is big-time D1 stuff. And you say, I didn't bring you here to brag. I brought you here because I lost my dad when I was 15 years old, and you all can go be great too.
Yeah, I wanted them to have aspirations, great aspirations, and the kids there wanted to win. And I wanted this, and the game be is still being played. They still count usually 2 or 3 points for a basket. So therefore, really, really important for me to show them this can be you someday too, if you apply yourself.
It doesn't matter what adversity you may have had. I mean, you lost your dad when you were 15. You lost your mom young as well. And family is such a theme through this, whether it's your natural family talking to your brother, you know, on the regular, or some of these players who have become your family, asking questions about raising their kids and coaching their basketball teams. Is that one of the goals that you tried to instill in the program?
Without question. That I have 2 sons, 2 great sons, and a great wife, and my brother and 2 of my sisters who are left. But more importantly, I also have about 250 maybe sons who I feel that way. When I get a phone call or I see a guy I haven't seen 2 or 3 years, so they call me, it's an important thing. Family is family is family.
And even if they're basketball players, that's a pretty cool thing. Dom, what do you think? I know that's going to be a big part of Jim Calhoun's legacy, but as a sports reporter and sports columnist, what do you think his legacy will be at the UConn program?
Well, I mean, obviously he's the man who built it, and he built it at a time when no one thought it was possible to do it there. I also think he is probably the one guy, here in Connecticut, and I've lived here all my life, we have a sort of an inferiority complex here. We're not big league. We don't deserve to be big league. We couldn't hold on to the Whalers. And I think Jim's one guy that came to Connecticut to make us big league, and he did, and he kept us big league. UConn men's basketball, and joined now by women's basketball, is big league. And we've held on to that. So I think that's what he's done for the quality of life in Connecticut should be remembered. But what he should be remembered for by those who've been around him is his passion for helping people. And I've been in his office for many hours at St. Joe's. It's like Grand Central Station. Former players are coming in. He's on the phone all day, and he's always involved in doing something for somebody. And not necessarily as great players.
Jim, only 20 seconds left, but who do you hope reads this book? Who's it aimed to?
I would think young kids should definitely read it. Khalil and had a tough time early. Kimball was cut. I want them to see adversity is there, but greatness sometimes doesn't come out of a nice, comfortable life. It comes out of chaos, and I want them to understand that.
Well, I told you I've been a lifelong UConn fan, cheered for all your teams, and I learned a lot about the players from this, so I really appreciate it. Jim Calhoun, Dom Amore, thanks for being with us here on CT25.
Thank you.
Now, if you want to find it, It's More Than a Game, How the UConn Basketball Dynasty Was Built on a Culture of Caring. It officially releases on October the 7th. You can pre-order it now, and if you're a UConn fan, you should do so and check out some of these stories. That is CT25 for this week. CBS Sunday Morning is coming up next. Have a great rest of your weekend. We will, of course, meet you back here in Studio A next Sunday morning.